Let me just say a little bit more about that Saturday Night Live sketch, which I posted earlier. I posted my reaction to it earlier. And I have to say, when I first became aware of this sketch and when I watched it for the first time, my response was 80% annoyance, or something more than annoyance. I don't want to say fury, but somewhere between annoyance and fury. It was aggravation, which I'll try to explain in a minute. So 80% aggravation, 20% though. 20% of me was just mystified and intrigued by this sketch and what purpose it is meant to serve. Why SNL put this sketch out. Now, I have not watched the show in years, maybe not even decades, or maybe not even a decade. It's been a long, long time. It's one of those shows that I just think, why in the hell is it still on? It's almost as old as I am, you know? It doesn't really deserve to be around for half a century. Is it that good? The answer is no, it's not that good. There have been times where I enjoyed it. There have been actors on the show that I've liked. There were even times when I watched it somewhat regularly. That was like back in my 20s, though. I don't think any time really in the last 10 or 15 years have I watched it. So I don't know who any of these people are in the sketch. And I know that they are insufferable lately. I remember their sketch where they were making fun of parents who go to school board meetings and ask questions and depicting these parents in a very negative way. So they were basically acting as propaganda for the powers that be, for the neoliberal elite, that was never my impression. Back in the day, I never had the impression that they had an agenda. It was just supposed to be, humor. It was supposed to be funny, and but that's clearly changed now. So all of that is to say, I know that they're insufferable and they're upholding the party line and praising all of the terrible people that we've been supposed to be worshipful of over the last couple of years, like Bill Gates, Fauci, and the like. And then all of a sudden, last weekend, they come up with that sketch, which I'll post it again below. I posted it with the last video that I did, which was all about my reaction to the sketch, my immediate reaction to the sketch, and I'm trying to understand what the purpose of the sketch was. That's why I'm still staying with it. That's why, I'm not just waving it away and getting on with my life. I want to try to get at why it was made, because I don't get it. The whole point of the sketch seems to be a conversation that's had by three couples, and of course 2 of the couples are mixed race, and 2 of the 3 men act very gay. but that's just a tangential thing, just something I notice. But speaking of agendas, anyway. But in this sketch, as you see when you watch it, these right-minded people, these upholders of the science and of the party line, the responsible party line of what what we've been lectured about the last 2 years with regard to everything from things you put over your face, I'm afraid to even say it, to things that you shoot into your arm, which I call the Baj, to lockdowns, to mandates, and it's like they're all, everyone in this sketch is saying, yeah, but isn't it kind of strange that, well, I read this article that they said these mandates didn't really have an effect. Oh, and then other people all said, no, don't go there. Whoa, and that was supposed to be really funny and relatable, to have these people bring up these things that were reasonable objections, which have turned out to be true, but it's just like an incredibly awkward thing for them to talk about, because it goes against what has been their religion as Branch Covidians, and so somehow, in some way, the joke is on them. The joke is on these people who are featured in this sketch, and yet at the same time, I get the feeling we're supposed to relate to them. We're supposed to, see them in some way that is sympathetic, and like, oh yeah, these things are really hard to face. These things are the doubts that we're having. The fact that the official story we were told doesn't seem to have added up the way that they said that it did. All of that is there's just this immense awkwardness about talking about it all, and it gets really egregious to me when there's the point made about the guy says, well, should we really have fired all those people? And it was like, don't go there. No. And we're supposed to be laughing at their awkwardness, or their feelings of discomfort with raising that point. I mean, that's where the relatability absolutely stops. If you have a conscience, you should be able to relate. You should be able to ask the questions like that. And the one guy also said, should I have really stopped being friends with somebody just because he didn't get and then he goes on to say the booster, which is so he's shunning his friend, not for not having ever gotten the Baj, but for refusing to get the booster, which is I mean, that's shunning over something that's much less of an egregious sin according to the Branch Covidian mindset, anyhow. So I really struggle with the whole question of what the reason is why they put this sketch out there, and it seems to be to try to admit that they've been wrong without expressing any remorse, without expressing any the saying, it's easier to fool people than to convince them that they've been fooled. The whole idea of the sketch was to say, yeah, we were wrong, but we weren't really fooled. We were just doing our best. I think there's some half-hearted way that they try to tie it all up at the end, where one of the characters says, look, we just did what we felt like we had to do during that time, and that's that's supposed to make all of these atrocities okay. So I figured it would be funny, like, it put into my mind if Saturday Night Live existed in Germany in 1937, and it was these couples were having a conversation, and one of them brought up the point, it's great that Chancellor Hitler has restored the glory of the German Reich, and that we no longer have to live under the humiliating conditions that were imposed upon us by the Versailles Treaty, and that's all great. Don't get me wrong, but Kristallnacht, was that really necessary? No. Don't go there. Ooh. Like, that's about the equivalent. Or I get that the mentally unfit, there's too many of them, and they don't add anything productive to society. But should we really be taking them away to be gassed? No, don't go there. Don't go there. All the stupid, retarded noises they were making. I just picture these 30 couples in 1937, Nazi Night Live, and it's like, they're having these kind of this discomfort with discussing people being forced to lose their jobs, people being forced to people being forced into isolation, where so many, especially young people, committed suicide. People being forced to take this experimental medicine, which for so many of them caused devastating side effects, including death. And these aren't supposed to be things that you bring up. Any person of conscience should be able to bring those things up without it being like a don't talk about that kind of thing. And that's why I think ultimately this sketch is so I think why I find it so loathsome is because it expects me to relate to these people who, we're supposed to be taught these are nice people. These are good, upstanding people, and they're just doing the best they can, to deal with the fact that all the things that they thought were true maybe aren't so true as they thought they were. But in the end, it's just, well, we just did our best, and we're supposed to relate to them, feeling uncomfortable talking about people losing their jobs, people being forced to take medical procedures that may or may not be good for them, people being forced into isolation, people being forced to close their businesses, people, for the economy being wrecked, for the working and middle class losing so much money, and all that money going to the to the billionaire class. That's just all supposed to be these clearly disgusting, repulsive things that are being forced upon the nation. In this sketch, these people are they're just depicted as nice people for going along with all that, and their discomfort is depicted as sort of understandable. It's relatable, and maybe it is relatable to, I don't know, to New York liberals. Are they the only ones who watch the show? They're probably the writers of the show, and the cast of the show, the producers of the show, but they're not the people who watch the show ostensibly. Although I don't know how much of middle America this is. At one time, shows like SNL and others like them, it didn't really matter so much. They were probably liberal leaning, but they knew that they couldn't just go too far with political commentary, and that they had to bring it back. And they had, there were other people out there in America who they wanted to be able to relate to. Like Michael Jordan famously said, Republicans buy my shoes too. It's that same kind of mentality seemed to prevail more in the past, whereas now it's more just, stick it to the half of the country that we hate. Except in this case, in the case of this commercial, it's like having to admit that half of the country was right, but doing it in a way that somehow avoids having to say, sorry, we were wrong. Sorry for all the monstrous things that we supported and helped to facilitate happening. Anyway, those are just my thoughts. Again, it is an intriguing sketch, in spite of just how aggravating it is to have to sit through. So please do let me know what your thoughts are, and I will link it again here, even though I linked it to my prior video, for those who are new to this discussion. Thanks for watching.